everyone, and as you can see by the title, today I want to talk about piracy. And no, not the cool kind with like swashbuckling pirates and treasure and everything like that. We're not talking about Jack Sparrow here. I want to talk about pirating books. This is basically brought on by a post that Maggie Stiefvater made on her Tumblr about people pirating the Raven Cycle books. And I'm gonna link it below so you can read the whole thing because she says everything way better than I could. But she talks about how people would try to justify it by saying that it doesn't really hurt the industry that much, like it's not a big deal to pirate it, especially because the books are popular and all this kind of stuff. And she argues that no, it really does affect the industry. It hurts sales, it hurts the numbers. It might mean that a series might not get as many books printed. And not only that, but it really hurts the publishing company as well. Like some people try to justify their pirating by saying, oh, it's a really popular author. Like she uses the example of James Patterson. People will say that their books sell really quickly because they're really popular, or that they'll say that they're rich enough so they don't need to like support their books or whatever. But not buying from those popular authors means less money going to the publishing company, which means less money to publish new voices. The sales from those books really help new people to get published. So it actually is all really helpful. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about like piracy and the ins and outs of it and everything because I think Maggie Stiefvater does a great job in her article of talking about all that kind of stuff, and also I don't know a ton about it and I don't want to give you misinformation or anything like that. What I want to talk about is options other than piracy, which I mean obviously just buy the book. That's an option. Some people, buying books can be very expensive, especially from like big chain stores like Barnes & Noble, like Chapters, like Waterstones I think is the one in the UK. And then it starts the whole conversation of what is art worth and all that kind of stuff. But also take into account like how old you are and like your position. Because for a young person or a teenager who works a part-time job and is paying for like other stuff as well, like school, paying like $17 or $25 for a book can be really expensive. But to an adult who works a full-time job and has paid bills that are like hundreds of dollars, paying like $23 for a book doesn't really seem like that much. So if you're younger and you're complaining about how expensive books are, just keep in mind that it might just be the time in your life and the position that you're in that makes it seem like it's more expensive than it really is. Of course it's not the case for everybody. There's plenty of people who are adults who, you know, can't afford books because they are kind of expensive, but for the most part, you know, it's not that high of a price to pay for something that you can keep your entire life and reread as much as you want. But anyway, here are some other options that don't involve buying from big chain stores if that's something that you can't do financially or if you just don't want to for whatever reason. And none of these things involve illegal piracy, so there's a plus. First one, I'm going to recommend you a site called Book Depository. Now if you've been in the book community at all, I'm sure you know what this is, but I would just like to remind you how great it is. It's an online website that has like tons and tons of books. Basically any book that you can think of that you want, you can find them there. And most of the time they have sales on like almost all their books. Maybe that's not true, but they have sales on books all the time, so you can get books like 30% off, 40% off. It's like great. And it's free shipping worldwide with like no minimum purchase, like you don't have to buy $30 in books to get free shipping. It's just straight, flat, free shipping worldwide, and it's great. Free shipping is such a blessing because shipping can be so expensive. I think that they're based in the UK, so if you don't live in the UK, it might take a bit longer for the books to get to you than say like Amazon or something like that, but it's worth it. Now this might not be an option for people because they have no way of paying online. Like you might not have a credit card, or you might not be able to use someone else's, like your parents or something like that, or if you don't have a PayPal or anything like that, it can be basically impossible, I guess, to buy online if you don't have those resources. But if you do and you are able to buy online, I would totally recommend Book Depository. It's great. But if it doesn't work for you or you just don't like online shopping for whatever reason, a great place to look is used bookstores and also like secondhand stores. Like you can usually find popular books that are in decent condition at used bookstores and secondhand stores for so cheap. Secondhand stores especially are like this. If you go into a Value Village or a Goodwill, they'll have like just shelves and shelves of books that are like super cheap, like $1 maybe for a book, which is insane. So yeah, I mean some people want their books brand new, but I assume that if you're wanting a brand new book you wouldn't be pirating it anyways. So, and the last place to get books that I want to suggest is your local library. Hey, it's your local library worker here just to tell you, please go to the library, please use it. Look, you can get books for free for like 2 to 3 weeks depending on what your library's like beats. They're for free. And then if you read the book and like it enough and decide that it's worth your money to like just buy the book later, you can do that. But if you read the book and you don't like it, you didn't waste any money on it. A lot of times libraries even have ways to borrow ebooks or audiobooks, so if those are ways that you like to read books instead, that works too. And if the library doesn't actually have the book that you want, you can usually put in a request for it. And in fact, I think the librarians would actually be really happy if you did that because a lot of times, especially for YA books, they're not really sure what's popular with the kids and everything like that. So they really like seeing what the young people are into. You might be asking, well, how is this any better than piracy? Like, you're not paying for the book, so how is it helping the author? First of all, it's not illegal to get things from the library. Second of all, if the book is in high demand at the library, like if a lot of people want to read it and they're like, there's a ton of holds on it, it's getting taken out all the time, libraries will order multiple copies of the same book. Like I said, I work in a library. I know what I'm talking about, kind of, most of the time. Also, yeah, someone who works in a library, please, please, please support your local library. The staff there put a lot of work into the library and into programs, and it's just really awesome to see people actually come out to the library and actually come out to those programs. So just check out what's going on in your local library and see if there's anything that you're interested in. Basically, if there's an author that you like, or just, you know, if you support books in general, please support those authors and buy the books whenever you can. If you can't, like I said, there's other options. There's libraries, there's used bookstores. Even like borrowing a book from a friend is way better than engaging in piracy. Especially when the author's on the internet and can see the people that read their books spreading pirated versions of the books. Maggie Seabutter talks about that in her article as well, and it's just like, come on guys, why? And sure, maybe I'm not one to talk about pirating because I've watched a couple of Broadway bootlegs in my time. That's a whole other issue that I don't want to get into right now because I have a lot of feelings about it, and this is just not the time or place. Also, the difference with Broadway bootlegs and pirating books is that people read the pirated books and then just like never buy the book. But let me tell you, I've watched bootlegs of a bunch of Broadway shows and it doesn't diminish at all my desire to actually see those on stage. Like if Heather's ever came around here, I would be buying tickets immediately. And like I said, I'm not going to talk about that right now because that's just an issue that people are very passionate about. Anyway, like I said, please buy books, please support the book industry, please just don't pirate books. Don't do that. Why would you do that? Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!